Well, hello everybody, it's Richard here, and it's the 19th of June 2011, and it's been absolutely ages since I've broadcast on YouTube, and I've received some very encouraging emails on my channel saying things like, Richard, where the heck have you been, or where are you, and what's happening to you? We haven't seen you for ages. And so I've been writing back to people apologising for my lack of visual broadcasting, as it were, but it's been rather a busy time for me, and I think the downward slide really started in November of last year when I was made redundant from my job at the Royal British Legion Industries at Aylesford near Maidstone. A very sad affair in that we were trying to save costs, and would you believe I became the cost-saving exercise along with several other staff due to a downturn in contracts. So that was quite stressful for me. I have to say that I've been very lucky in getting another position with a company that I'd worked for some 10 years previous, and due to a chance meeting with a colleague, and I'm now been with that company, Avante Partnership, based in Faversham, since April this year. So I've been very lucky in that respect, and but it was a difficult time, and I'm really grateful because the people I'm working with are absolutely wonderful. When I worked there 10 years ago, they were wonderful, and they're still wonderful today, and I've got new colleagues and I'm settling in, but it's been quite tiring because when you take on a new role, you're inevitably trying to make sure that you're giving your best, you're sorting out all the social dynamics of a team, and also you're getting to grips with the job. So the travel's a little bit more than I normally would do. The job's far more interesting in some respects. Similar, how I describe it, it's the same but different, and I'm still keeping in contact with colleagues at RBLI and Aylesford from time to time. In fact, I went back to see several of the service users there only a couple of weeks ago, and staff, and it's because I was there 10 years, and I think when you're with a company that long, you become part of a family, and I've just moved back to another family which I'm very keen on. Great colleagues, great place to work, and so that's why you haven't seen me quite so much. So that's my little explanation. Also, there's some other things been going on in, I've changed my car and all this lot, and things have happened there. But in March this year, I went on the Elboly walk, and in fact it was let me just check the date because it seems to have gone very quickly, the 16th of April actually, not March, and I met up with Jonathan Holmes and Neil. Johnny Holmes actually is now in America doing some work experience out there, and also Neil, who are both avid YouTube fans of mine, and I know probably I am of theirs. So just like to give a plug also to Johnny's article that's appeared in the latest edition, the summer edition of Memory Lane. I'd also like to thank Ray Pellet for putting on that wonderful walk. It was the 70th anniversary this year of the death of Elboly, and we had a marvellous day, and I did enjoy it. It was a bit slightly surreal, meeting up with other people who are a great fan of Elboly, and also seeing the presentation which we had and after our lunch there was very nice. The pub we used was the George pub opposite Law Courts in London, and it was a spectacular venue. So thank you very much for all of that. It was certainly worth going, and also a relative of mine came too, and he certainly enjoyed the event. So that's that little bit of news really. And if you want to see Johnny's article in here, it's actually if you subscribe to Memory Lane, it's actually on page 57 of the magazine, and certainly well worth a read, as it were. My last video was on the 17th of March, actually. It was about my LP collection, and I have gained a few more LPs since then. But this afternoon, I just thought I'd mention some of my radio collection and show you around some of that. Just be very aware of the time in this one. So I'm going to take the camera off its perch here in the workshop and show you a couple of things. I've got a brand new Hacker Sovereign radio, and also one of my Hacker Sovereigns has stopped working, so I think it might be one of the transistors may have blown, and I'll have to have a look at that. But these radios really are the top notch, and though Hacker stopped producing them in Maidenhead in 1977, the company started out in 1927 with two brothers who started the company of I think it was called, where is it, the Hackers Company style. I always get some history right here. Dynatron radios, and this is the link. I got a bit off the internet, and Ron and Arthur started the company started manufacturing in 1927. So it's quite a long time that they were going for, and then obviously through changes decided to start Hacker. And that Hacker radio started, I think it was in 1957 or somewhere around that time, until 1977 when there were some changes. But these radios are really stern, so I'm going to show you that. So just make sure that the time is right. Just going to take Mr. Panasonic off his perch and swing him round. Just bear with me. I don't drop or switch the thing off. Okay, so there we are. So this radio here, this isn't a Hacker, this is actually a Grundig. Now I'm rather fond of Grundig radios, particularly the small ones, because, and this is the Grundig Music Boy 60. Now there is another one that's similar to this that I bought brand new from Argos some years ago, which is the Grundig Prima Boy, which actually follows the same, in fact it's the same design, I think, probably the same thing inside. But this is rather nice. It's a good kitchen radio, this one, and I got this off eBay, and it was actually in some of the retro section of eBay. So if you're looking for these type of radios or anything like this, sometimes it's worth having a look at the retro section of eBay to have a look. So this one is, I'd say this was probably, I don't know, probably might be 80s, might be perhaps a little earlier than that. Probably, I remember them when I was at school in the 70s, so they're probably dates from around about that era. It's got a rather nice blue case, which I thought quite like, and this rather nice speaker here, the nice 5-inch speaker. It has FM, medium and long wave, and what I quite like about these radio sets are they actually have quite a nice tone control. It's slider tone control. These often don't cause much problems in my experience. Some of these slide controls can be a bit problematic. They crackle a bit. The volume is good on this one, and then at the side you've got here the wavelength selector controls, and then a button here, switch button for medium, long, and FM. And then on the back you can have one of these figure of 8 connectors for mains, and then it takes 4 of these small cell batteries here. Unfortunately I didn't have all the same, so I've had to use a Panasonic with Duracell, but that's because that's all I've got in there. So and it's interesting, on the back here it actually says Music Boy, spelt the German way, M-U-S-I-K 60AL, so and on there. So being on the front, it actually obviously says Music Boy in English, so portable radio. Good reception if I switch it on.
That at the time
Radio 4.
we negotiated the deal, we got very favourable interest rates. So I'm very confident that we've got a very good rate.
And you got value for money in the original contract.
Let's see what this section is here. It's quite a good reception there. That's not even that's without the aerial up, actually. So you've got a good aerial here. Can't quite do it one-handed, but it's quite a good aerial there. The Prima Boy one has got a massive aerial, the one I've got in the bathroom, which I listen to Radio 4 in the morning. So, but anyway, it's quite a good sound there. So that's that one. Now, this radio here, which needs a little bit of attention, is actually a reproduction. Now, as people know, I've got a thing about reproduction radios in so much as I don't think much of them. But this one is actually made in Italy, and is actually, though this is a wood cabinet, it looks like walnut. Very nice, nicely done. These are plastic knobs, but they actually look like Bakelite, and in fact, I'd be careful because the speaker likes to fall out if you're not careful, but I've got to repair that. When it's switched on, this wavelength actually lights up very nicely, and the sound is really good, clearly a better quality, and I think it would be fair to say that if some of these retro radio sets, if they took a bit more care in actually producing, I'm just going to take the back off if I can, putting better works inside, they would be much better. I think you can just about see in there. Just about see there. I've got to actually do some work on this because the speaker is loose. It wasn't due to anything that was sold. It just fell out in transit. So that little radio set there, I've had it a while, because I say I've been so busy doing other things. And the other things I forgot to mention is that I've also been finishing off my degree at Canterbury Christchurch University, and that has taken up it's quite a bit of my time as well. I'm actually at the home run now. Let's take a slurp of tea there. So that's that little set. And when I get that one working a bit more, I'm going to make a video just on that particular set. Now, over here we have got the fantastically Sovereign 2 Hacker Sovereign 2 radio. And these came out about 1965, 1967, and they use some of the best materials they can. I'm just going to pull that into view a bit more. They have this one particularly has got a swivel, so they don't all have that. This one, the other one here, but this one's not working. This is my friend who's come from the bedroom, and he suddenly stopped working, and I haven't discovered why yet. I think he might need something wrong with his transistors, but I'm going to investigate that. This one I've had it over a month, and I only opened it from the box yesterday. I've given it a clean up, just a quick clean up, but reception on here is really good. The main features of these, there's got to be a reflection from the lights here, are that everything is so well laid out. Now, when Hacker Brothers produced these sets, they wanted to make sure that they had the highest grade materials, and that's why they've lasted so well. Unfortunately, Roberts radios actually killed them off eventually, because Philips sold the company, I think, in the end to Roberts. And of course, Roberts radios are still around today and producing some very good sets, I have to hasten to add. But I think these, to me, these are the bee's knees, and I came across these first of all when I was doing some babysitting many years ago, and the guy I was babysitting for had some of these radio sets. I'm obviously going to have to make two sections to this video because we're now 13 minutes, and so I'm going to stop now and then rejoin shortly. So see you in part 2. Take care.